The objective of this project is to create a Mad Libs generator. Here's how it works. I have a button called Startup, and I have 3 text boxes where I can input a variety of word types. For instance, adjective, weekday, friend. And then I have a Go button and a Mad Lib box where the procedures I write will assemble those text items entered by a user along with some additional text to create a little story. So let's see what this looks like. If I go into presentation mode and I click Startup, I can type in an adjective such as frosty, weekday, maybe Monday, and friend, I'll use my my dog, Rocky. Type Go or press Go.
One frosty Monday morning, an adolescent student named Rocky was abducted by a UFO.
And there you have it. So not only did it generate the text, but it also spoke the text. So let's see what it takes in order to build this project. Go to File, New Project, and open up the Painting and Clip Art palette so that you can just very simply decorate the background. I'll use the Fill bucket, and I'll keep the opacity down fairly low and fill in that background. You can use one of these textures down here, which are kind of cool, but really make sure that you keep the opacity low, otherwise it gets rather intrusive. Once you've completed that, close it up. And now, for a lot of the remaining parts of the project, we're going to need this text box tool. And the text box tool allows us to draw 3 types of text boxes. So if I click on that tool, click, hold, and drag up here, I can create a little box, and I can type inside the box something like Mad Libs. Highlight that text, go to text, size, make it a little larger. I can even change the color and font. If you need more room, you can command click on the box and stretch that out, okay, resize the box, and then control click inside the box in this white area and select transparent. So this text box is really just serving as a title or as a label. Now if I create another text box for my first user input word, I have text2 as my label, but I want for that to say something more relevant and meaningful. I want the user to know kind of what type of word am I looking for. So I will click inside the box, select edit, and say adjective. You can make it single line if you want, but leave everything else the same. Now notice I didn't type adjective here because this is where the user is going to be typing in their information, their word that they have chosen. The adjective is really the label of the box, and essentially it's a variable name because what the user types into the box is going to vary. So really I've created a variable text box, and I can create 2 more of those simply by drawing them out. And on each of these I can either control click inside and select edit, or I can use the eyeball to click on that, bring up the dialog box. And my second word will be a weekday, and my last word that I want the user to input will be a friend. Please make sure that you don't do something like best friend and leave a space in there. If you want to use 2 words, you either need to use an underscore to connect them, a dash to connect them, or just remove the space altogether. I'm simply going to use the word friend. You cannot have spaces in your variable names. All right. I'll need 1 more text box. This is going to be a larger text box, and I'm going to call this Mad Lib. Now you can call it something else, but you need to remember what you call it because this is where you're going to be outputting the assembled story. Okay? Now, I'm going to move over here. I'm going to make my text a little bit larger just so that you can see it a little more clearly. And I'm going to write my first procedure. This will be called to Startup. Startup is actually a reserved name that will be running as soon as you open a project, but then you can reuse that same procedure at any time. So I'm going to say adjective. That's the adjective text box, the variable text box. Clear your text. Weekday, clear text. Friend, clear text. And Mad Lib, clear text, because I need all of the information that may have previously been entered into those boxes to be cleared out. And say end. Then I will make a button, and I'll call it Startup. It doesn't have to have the same name as the procedure, but make sure the instruction is the procedure name, start up, without the 2. Put that over here. So click it, make sure that that works. If I had put any kind of junk into these boxes, click yes, and it's gone. All right, next I will write my go procedure, and what go is going to do is assemble that story. So I'll say to go, and then I want to make sure that the story is being assembled in the madlib box. So I'm going to identify that variable text box, call it madlib, comma, and then insert, and anything I want inserted has to use the square brackets. So 1 space pipes, and then close the square bracket. These pipes are sort of long, skinny sticks or chopsticks. What they do is they allow you to create space in your text so that you're essentially providing some text formatting instructions. The pipes are located on your keyboard by pressing Shift on the backspace key, and that key is located right below the delete key and right above the return or enter key. So pipes are very important in text formatting, and this whole project really focuses on text formatting with regard to inputting variable text information as well as inputting additional text that will be wrapped around those variables. So we'll type in insert adjective. That is going to directly put in whatever the value of the word is in this variable text box. Okay. Next line, insert square bracket, pipe, space, pipe, close that square bracket, insert weekday, insert square bracket, pipe, pipe, morning, and Adelson student named space pipe pipe, close that square bracket, insert friend, insert square bracket, pipe pipe, was abducted by a UFO, period, close the square bracket, and then say madlib, which is going to actually speak whatever was inserted into that text box, and then end. Lastly, I need to create a button. I'll call it go. I can put an exclamation point here, but then the instruction just needs to exactly match the name of the procedure, go, and I'll move that over here. Okay. So again, let's try something like soggy, weekday, Friday, and I'll use my other dog, Lucy. It says, I don't know how to insert and go, and you'll notice that insert is spelled incorrectly. So if I look at go and I look at my spellings, I'll notice as I move along that I misspelled insert right here. So this command center will give me a clue as to how to debug if I've made an error. So I'll retype insert. Okay. Let's try again.
One soggy Friday morning, an Adelson student named Lucy was abducted by a UFO.
And now it works perfectly. You'll notice also you can go back and you can resize the text that goes into these boxes, and then anything that somebody types in there later will have that newly resized text. You can even change the color as well if you'd like to be able to put something in like red or blue, make it just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for the user as they play with your toy. And that's it for Mad Libs. Feel free to, once you have built this base project, to examine how it looks by pressing the little presentation screen. Hit escape to get out of that. Have friends play with it and see how it works, as well as add in additional text boxes and add in additional code into your procedure to make a more elaborate or exciting story. Have fun.